I told the team in the locker room how proud I was of them. They've done everything we've asked them to do since January and competed, and they showed a lot about their true character today. We had, obviously, a lot of things go against us. They continued to fight back and put themselves in a position, had a chance to win, obviously. Came up just a few inches short, but I also made them aware that that doesn't have anything to do with what they've accomplished this year. Essentially, when we start in January, we ask the players to do certain things. And they've done everything we've asked them to do for 11 months. Everything we've asked them to do. So we came up a little short, but I told them I couldn't be any more proud of them the way they competed. Sometimes that happens when you put yourself in a situation like we're in. Two really good teams play today. Two teams that were pretty evenly matched. And if it would have ended up that much more the other way, it wouldn't have made them a failure either. The guys are hurting in there, but that's kind of the way it is. We still got another game, and it's a special group. They're looking forward to being together another 3 weeks or so before we go play in a bowl. Give them a week off. They need a break. They've pushed a lot. So I thought the atmosphere was unbelievable for the championship game. The Oklahoma State people, the way they showed up, and they were awesome. Couldn't ask for anything else. A big-time environment. So we learned a lot. We learned a lot as an organization. And I told them these things are difficult to swallow, but we'll be back. And we learn from these situations, and we make it better next time.
All right, Coach, we've got microphones from either side of the room. We're going to go to the front row here to Jenny first.
Hey, Mike, I noticed you had to go around the field to get your guys to leave. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. It just seemed like they didn't want it to be over. Did you get that sense from your guys today?
You know, every year teams build their own chemistry, and they kind of become who they are. And these guys have practiced hard. They've stayed focused. They've been disciplined. They've worked hard, and they enjoy each other. And I say this all the time, is that, you know, this is not coaches don't make up teams. Coaches only provide a blueprint, and the players make the teams. And the success they've had is because of them, because of what they put into it. And they don't want it to be over. You know, they want another play. But, you know, as I said, I'm just proud of them, the way they compete.
All right, Coach, we're going to stay in the front row and go to Barry right here.
Barry Trammell with the Oklahoman. Mike Spencer didn't play well early, but you couldn't run the ball, so he had all kinds of issues. What was leading to that? And then at the end of the game, you guys really hadn't driven the ball the whole day, and you did it and got all the way to the one. Explain those two things.
Well, first off, we didn't protect him very well, and you guys know that when we have these discussions on Mondays or Saturdays after the game, you know, my message is pretty similar. You know, if we protect him well and rush the ball, then he usually plays pretty well. And I think that's consistent with any quarterback. I don't think it's just Spencer. I think it's high school, college, NFL quarterbacks. And so we struggled rushing the ball and made us a little bit one-dimensional. And then when you're one-dimensional, protection's not as easy. And then in the end, we had guys make plays. He moved around and dumped the ball off. 27 made some plays and made some catches. And, you know, we were able to manufacture some yards and get right down there. We just came up a little short.
Coach, we're going to stay in the front row right here.
Yeah, Mike, the two sequences down near the goal line where you kicked a field goal the first time, then came up just short there the second. Shortcomings by you guys on offense to come up just shy, or just hats off to Baylor and how they played you in those two, you think?
You know, it could be both. They're a good defense. You guys know that. I mean, you watched them all year now. I mean, there's no question that they're a really good defense. And so, you know, we have to look as coaches and see, okay, how was that scheme without watching the tape? And then you have to give them credit. You know, and I told our team that. I mean, in the end, they made a play, and their coach made a call, and it is what it is. But I would say it could be a little bit of both.
All right, raise your hand if you have a question. We'll come back right here to
Jenny Carlson with the Oklahoman. Forgot that the first time. Mike, in the second half, your defense held them to 36 yards total. What were the adjustments? What did you hear and then see out of the guys in the second half?
I mean, I think in the first half we gave them short fields, so we made it easy on them, and then once we kind of figured it out in the second quarter. And then in the second half, we did a good job shutting them down. And the short fields are what made it look a little bit worse than what it really was.
All right, Coach, we're going to go to the third row back here.
Scott Wright with the Oklahoman. Mike, you mentioned the offensive line issues protecting Spencer. Also seemed to struggle, especially when you guys were in the red zone running the ball. What did you see from your offensive line and the run game in general?
Oh, I mean, we didn't rush the ball very good. We had concerns with the big guy in the middle. He caused us some trouble. And again, I'm gonna say they're pretty good up front. We knew that going in. They're a good defense overall. They can run. They're fast. And they've got maturity out there. But we had a tough time handling the nose guard.
Coach, we're going to stay in the middle and go to the second row.
Cody Nagel, 24/7 Sports. Mike, did you get any sort of explanation on the kind of confusion there with the timeout there towards the end?
No, I didn't. I'm not sure what happened. I saw their players call timeout. They stopped the game, and then they came back and said, let's play. And so we didn't have any timeouts, so we couldn't have a discussion. You see what I'm saying? The game's running. I'm not sure what happened. I know they called timeout. I know we stopped the game. And then after that, they said just keep playing, so I don't have an explanation.
All right, Coach, staying on the second row right here.
Eli Letterman, Tulsa World. Jalen Warren was on the sideline in uniform. He had his helmet, went to the locker room, and never materialized. What was what went on there, and why was it that he wasn't out there today?
Well, he's not capable of playing today, physically.
All right, Coach, we're going to go to the last row here. Gentleman with the tie, yep.
Brian Brinkley, KFOR-TV. Coach, you've talked as Spencer Sanders' career has gone on about how he's dealt emotionally with making mistakes. What was his demeanor today with the 4 interceptions? Were you impressed with how he handled himself? How did that go?
I thought he was great when it comes to his composure and willingness to listen and identify what the issues were and then rally back. He's come a long way from where he was a couple of years ago. And so he had a couple errant throws, but then a couple times when he had the interceptions, he got hit. So I thought he handled himself really well. It's taking the information back on the field, identifying what the problem was, and just trying to figure out a way to make it better.
Raise your hand again. We'll come right here. Max on the front row. Nancy.
Max Olson, The Athletic. Mike, is there, in this outcome, is there any disappointment for you in potentially not getting that shot at the playoff? Would you like to see how this team would compare to the other three?
Other three what?
Teams in the playoff.
Well, I don't have any disappointment with our team. Again, I'm going to go back to the very first thing. In our culture, we ask them to do certain things. And if they do what we ask them to do at the very best of their ability, then that's all we can ask them to do, okay? If you're asking, would we have liked to have won and been in a playoff? Sure, we would have. That's kind of that's what you want, right? That's the next step. That's all of our goal. But I know this might sound funny. There is no disappointment for me with our guys. There's just not. These guys have done too much, and you're in an operation of about 190 people, 140 players, and we have 50 or so coaches and staff and all the different things, and everybody in the organization has done what we've asked them to do, including the players. So I don't have any disappointment. I would sure like to have got that touchdown at the end for the players to enjoy that, but sometimes in life we don't always get what we want.
Coach, we're going to go back to Barry here in the front row.
Barry Trammell with the Oklahoman. Mike, it's 21-3, 6 minutes left in the third quarter. You're playing terrible. It looks like you could get blown out. What was it that allowed you to stay in the game and then have a chance to win right at the end?
You know, I know you guys are tired of me saying this, but I have to go back to just the players and their belief in each other, playing confident and looking each other in the eye and saying it's going to be okay. Because what you said is the truth. I mean, it looked pretty bleak. They had every reason to think that, this is no fun. Let's just kind of check it in and get out of here. But our culture doesn't allow that to happen. And that's the thing that makes me the happiest, selfishly, as a coach, is just what you saw there. Because we had a lot of things go wrong. I mean, a lot of things that didn't go our way, and so that would have been the easiest thing for them to do, but they're not going to do that. So, as I said, when I talked to the team just now, that guys, that this is your last season, I can't thank you enough for what you've done. We get a week off. We got 3 weeks of practice to go play in another one. And then the young guys and the other guys that are all coming back, they've set an example for you what it takes, and we'll be back. You just got to work as hard. You got to stay hungry. This team was hungry. This team's been hungry since January. Got to stay hungry.
Coach, we're going to go to the very back row.
Nathan Thompson, Fox 23 in Tulsa. Coach, in a lot of ways, this has been a very special season for you guys. When you get so close here, inches away, does it make it hard for you or the players to kind of appreciate how special it was?
No. It is for them right now because they're too young to understand. They'll figure it out. They're just kids. It's not for me. I understand. Like I said, I mean, for what our guys accomplished in the situation they put themselves in, I see it real clear. Young people don't see it as clear. They're emotional and you know how kids are, young people. And that's the way it is. See, our job as adults and coaches and teachers and parents is to teach them, is to raise them and teach them the importance of what they've accomplished and move forward, because they'll have other things in life that set them back just like this. And so that's our job.
Coach, we have time for 2 more questions. We're going to go to the second row right in the middle.
Coach, Ben Hutchins with the Ocali. You told us on Monday how important special teams was going to be to this game, and I think back to Corey Black's blocked field goal and then the recovery. What did those 2 plays do for the kind of mental psyche of this team?
Well, it gave us some momentum at half. And then when they attempted the other one, it could have very well rushed him based on what happened last time, and they missed it. And it was really important because that kept us in it. Because then you're starting to extend the score, which makes it more difficult, particularly if you're not throwing the ball effectively. Okay? And you have to give credit to their punter, too. There's a couple crucial situations. He has some bombs. And that's all part of the special teams that we talked about.
Coach, final questions coming from the front row on the far left.
Yeah, Mike Marshall Scott with Pistols Firing. What was your view on that 4th down play? Was there a time when you thought he had it whenever he's getting the edge? And just kind of take me through what you saw in that play.
Well, he was running away from us. So, it's hard to tell because, I'm on ground level. There's a pile and everybody's going that direction. So, I really couldn't tell what was going on because of the people that were standing in the way. But they did have somebody show up really quick that made a good play. It's not 27's fault. They made a good play.